Did a 6-second toy accidentally predict the future of social media? For a few years in the mid-1990s, one tiny gadget was everywhere. It fit in a pocket, ran on a couple of batteries, and did something that felt almost magical at the time. Press a button, record your voice, and instantly play it back. There was no tapes, there was no setup, there were no complicated instructions. Just 6 seconds of sound that could be replayed again and again. Now, it sounds pretty simple now, but for millions of kids, the Yak Bak was one of the coolest toys on the playground. It was used for jokes, it was used for pranks, it was used for secret messages and endless sibling arguments. And for a brief moment, it wasn't just a toy, it was a phenomenon. But if everyone seemed to have one, why did it disappear so quickly? And how did one of the biggest toy crazes of the 90s become almost forgotten today? Now, to understand the rise of Yak Bak, you have to remember what the early 1990s looked like. This was a decade obsessed with electronic gadgets. Kids wanted anything that beeped, talked, flashed lights, or felt futuristic. And one of the hottest toys of the era was the Talk Boy, made famous by Home Alone 2. So the idea of recording your voice and playing it back was very exciting, but the Talk Boy was fairly large and relied on cassette tapes. And that created an opportunity. A company called Yes Entertainment saw a gap in the market, and instead of a bulky recorder, they wanted something smaller, cheaper, and easier for kids to use. Working with inventor Ralph Osterhout, the company developed a compact digital voice recorder that stripped away everything except the fun part. And the result was Yak Bak. Released for the 1994 holiday season, the toy looked almost ridiculously simple. Most versions had just a couple of buttons. One button recorded, one button played back the recording, and that's basically all it did. And kids absolutely loved it. Within seconds of picking one up, anyone could understand how it worked. Record something funny, play it back, laugh, repeat.
In the name of justice, evildoer, it's just my job. I'll save you!
Stop! In the name of justice, evildoer, it's just my job.
It didn't require instructions or practice. The fun started immediately. And the possibilities seemed absolutely endless. Kids recorded cartoon theme songs, funny noises, jokes, catchphrases, and messages for friends. And some used it to annoy their siblings, of course.
It's two! It's not. It's two! It's not. It's two! It's not. It's two! It's not. It's two! It's two! It's not. It's not. It's two! It's not.
And in many ways, the Yak Bak arrived at exactly the right moment. You see, the playground culture of the 1990s was built around jokes, catchphrases, and making friends laugh.
What do you get if you put hot water down a rabbit's hole?
What do you get?
Hot cross bunny.
And Yak Bak turned all of that into a toy. Instead of simply repeating a joke yourself, you could carry it around in your pocket and replay it whenever you wanted. And word, of course, spread quickly. Soon it seemed like every kid either owned one or desperately wanted one, and the success of the original Yak Bak led to a flood of new versions. Some models added voice-changing effects, others allowed recordings to be saved so favorite clips wouldn't be erased, and later versions added reverse playback, sound effects, and other gimmicks designed to keep the concept fresh.
Yak that does it all. Yak Maniac, stutters like crazy. Yak Maniac makes you sound like you're underwater. And Yak Maniac echoes. Echo.
And for a few years, my goodness, it worked. Colourful, transparent plastic designs fit perfectly with 1990s style. Clear electronics were incredibly popular, and Yak Baks looked futuristic while remaining affordable. By the middle of the decade, the toy had become one of the most recognizable electronic gadgets in America. It felt really like the Yak Bak could do no wrong. But unfortunately, hidden underneath all that success was a problem that eventually destroys many toy crazes. And that is novelty. Now, the first time someone heard their voice instantly played back through a tiny speaker, it felt amazing. But the 100th time, that just wasn't quite as exciting. The same simplicity that made Yak Bak successful also limited its future. There was only so much a 6-second voice recorder could do, and as the decade moved forward, kids began expecting more from their electronics. Video games were becoming more advanced, handheld devices offered increasingly complex features, technology was evolving rapidly. And compared to what was arriving in stores, a simple voice recorder just started to feel pretty limited. Competition only made things worse. Other companies introduced their own recording toys and electronic gadgets, and kids suddenly had more choices than ever before. The toy aisle became crowded, and attention spans moved quickly from one trend to the next. But still, competition wasn't the biggest threat. The real danger was happening inside the company itself. So Yes Entertainment had expanded rapidly during the Yak Bak boom, and like many companies riding a hot fad, it assumed the success would continue. New products were launched, more resources were invested, expansion plans grew bigger. And then, sales started slowing down. And by late 1996, the warning signs were becoming impossible to ignore. Revenue declined sharply, losses began piling up, investors became concerned. The company that had ridden the Yak Bak wave to success suddenly found itself struggling to stay afloat. The toy industry can be brutal. A hit toy can make millions one year and be forgotten the next. Trends move quickly, and companies often have only a small window to capitalize on success before the market shifts. Yes Entertainment tried to adapt. New Yak Bak variations continued to appear. More advanced products were introduced. The company even attempted to revive Teddy Ruxpin, hoping nostalgia and brand recognition could help reverse its fortunes. But nothing worked. The problems just kept on growing. And by February 1999, Yes Entertainment filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection with nearly $20 million in debt. The company actually attempted to reorganize, but the damage was already done. And when the company collapsed, Yak Bak unfortunately collapsed with it. There was no longer a major manufacturer pushing new products. Advertising disappeared, retail support dried up, future development stopped. The toy didn't slowly fade away, it just simply vanished. And for many kids, the disappearance felt pretty sudden. One year Yak Bak seemed to be everywhere, and then suddenly they weren't. The fad had ended, and the company behind it had disappeared. And yet, unlike many forgotten toys of the 1990s, Yak Bak left behind a surprisingly strong legacy. Today, it remains one of the most recognizable gadgets from the decade. Mention the name to someone who grew up in the 90s, and chances are they'll immediately remember the little plastic recorder and the strange tinny sound of their own voice coming back through the speaker.
Follow Eternal Electronics. Follow Eternal Electronics.
Looking back, what's most fascinating is how modern the concept feels. At its core, Yak Bak was all about creating short pieces of content and sharing them with other people. Record something funny, replay it, show it to friends, repeat. And that basic formula sounds familiar today because it powers much of modern social media. Now obviously, Yak Bak wasn't TikTok, it wasn't YouTube, and it wasn't Vine. But the idea of creating short, replaceable content for entertainment feels surprisingly similar. Decades before smartphones put powerful recording devices in everyone's pocket, Yak Bak gave kids a simple way to create their own tiny pieces of entertainment. And that may be one reason people remember it so fondly. It wasn't trying to be complicated. It didn't need internet access. It didn't require downloads, updates, or subscriptions. It was just a simple gadget built around one idea. And for one brief period, that idea was enough. The rise and fall of Yak Bak is ultimately a story about timing. It arrived at exactly the right moment when electronic toys were booming and kids were eager for something new. Its simplicity made it instantly appealing, its affordability made it accessible, and its novelty made it impossible to ignore. But toy fads rarely last forever. Technology moved forward, competition increased, the company behind the product collapsed, and one of the biggest playground sensations of the 1990s disappeared almost overnight. And yet, decades later, people still remember those 6-second recordings. They remember the jokes, the pranks, the arguments, and the endless replay button. Not bad for a toy that only gave you 6 seconds to make an impression. And then, just like the recordings themselves, it was gone.